after a 2-day weekend at OSW, drifting at the NMRA Drift Invitational RTR Ford event, we're finally back in the garage. Now, car did great, but this not this weekend, but next weekend is OSW Spring Break Bash. That's another big event, 3 days of drifting, tons of seat time, tons of partying, but we also have tons to do on the car before then. We need to actually get the car taken back apart, almost entirely taken back apart, because inside this box we got a lot of goodies. Super excited to get these installed on the car, so we gotta start getting this thing taken back apart. So, time to get started. After just a little bit of time, got the tube front removed, radiator, everything unbolted from it. Alright, so I think we're pretty much set to go ahead and drop the engine. Steering shaft is disconnected. All of our power steering lines are disconnected. I think all we really have to do now is drop our coilovers, the 8 bolts that hold the K member, and then the 4 bolts that hold the transmission. I think that's the only thing that's really holding it in at this point. Engine's out. Probably a couple hours. We definitely didn't do it as quickly as we did last time, but engine's dropped, it's on the ground, it's free rolling. So now I'm trying to figure out what the best way to do this is. I got this whole box of goodies and an engine hoist. Let's just go ahead and start pulling into the box. This is a drive shaft loop, ain't that special. We need it for FD Pro-Am. Not that cool. Paper, paper, more paper, 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 lots of paper. K member. Maximum Motorsport K member. Super stoked on this. It's one of those things that I've always wanted, and I finally got it. So we got that to install, and then we also have a Maximum Motorsport solid steering shaft. I'm pretty sick and tired of the old steering shaft, the old rag joints. It doesn't fit through my exhaust very easily. Kind of gets jammed up when we're trying to pull it in and out. So woo. So ta-da. So it's actually why we needed to drop the whole thing. We could have just used the engine hoist and supported the engine and just slid one K member out, slid the new one in. But because I'm redoing that steering shaft, we had to drop the whole engine. So, intake manifold's off. We got sitting right here. It's pretty nice just because you can undo all the manifold bolts and then just kind of carefully wiggling it out. You can get everything with the ignition coils, your injectors. You just pull everything off as one big unit. Alright, so we got our engine hoists in place. Here's my engine leveler. Again, we got it hooked up to the back, hooked up here at the alternator mounting points. New day. We worked 11 hours today, so now we got home probably like 8 o'clock. It's 9:40 right now, so we're gonna start working on getting this new K member put in. Last night we made quite a mess because our trans fluid started spilling out and fluid leaked all over the floor. So we stopped at a parts store. We got some oil absorbent, so we're able to get our floor a little bit cleaner. We still have a lot of spots where like underneath our engine hoist. Got another little pile of it back there, but at least we have some room to walk around now. So, yeah, we got our Maximum Motorsport K member sitting right over here. We weighed it last night. Try not to put any extra weight on it, just let it lean against me. 50.4. 36.8. I guess I remember the stock one was like 51 pounds. The new one is 35 pounds. So a little bit of weight reduction. So we'll get the steering rack bolted onto it, and then we'll get it lifted up. We'll get it put underneath the engine, get it bolted in, and we'll get it slid back onto the car. So time to start putting it back together. Alright, so I'm going to wait to put the steering rack on because after reading the instructions, I have to do some trimming of the stock bolts. I'm just going to kind of put that off for a minute. So I just went ahead, lifted up the K member, got it bolted in to the engine mounts. So I just want to get it kind of pushed under the car, get it mounted back to the car so that way the engine's supported and we can get the engine hoist out of here. So for now, before we can do that, we have to get the old steering shaft out. We've got the new one here. So it's just a 10mm bolt right there at that universal joint. So we'll get that undone. We'll slide out the steering shaft, slide the new one in. The new steering shaft is installed. Steering rack bolts trimmed up. The instructions ask for them to be 6 1/4 inches. So got them cleaned up. Alright, so we've got our K member. We just kind of got it loosely bolted in place, and I'm starting to notice an issue. We need to go in and kind of grind off some of our welds from our plate here. We took care of it. So we'll get it lifted back up, we'll get it bolted again. So we got our K member bolted in place. We have it torqued to spec, and we use the Loctite. So it's in there. Now we got to get the engine dropped down so that way it's sitting inside the little cradle there. We'll get the engine mount bolts cleaned up, Loctite, and torqued down, and then we'll crawl back under the car. We'll get our transmission mounts mounted, then we'll start getting our coilovers, control arms mounted. So can't wait to get this hoist out of here, get some of my workspace back, be able to get my floor clean. Bugs me having it all dirty. Alright, so we were having issues with our inner tie rod contacting our bolt. I was going to replace this bolt, but I decided not to. So we went to the part store, we bought some washers. Just kind of brought out just enough, so that way I was comfortable with the amount of clearance that I had. Really didn't bring it out too much, only stacked 2 washers. So now I just got to get the other side put back together, and we'll drop back on the ground. Alright, so it's been a little bit of a day. Garage is empty. We got it all cleaned up. We got the floor cleaned up. Got all that transmission fluid out of there. Car's back on the ground. It's out here in the driveway. And our new Maximum Motorsports K member is installed. So, pretty stoked on that. We needed to do an alignment since we had everything taken apart. And then our intake manifold. So that's kind of big, and then just kind of throwing everything back on the front here. I feel like we're getting pretty good at doing the tube front and bolting everything on at this point. But, you know, while I've got the garage empty, I got a few extra plans in mind. Got a cool idea, so stick around. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and thank you.